Hi everyone. For the written assignment this time, our group will present a topic on issues of poverty. First, let me introduce the members of our group. I'm Tomo. The other members of our group consist of Diki Jilo, Viralina Dondon anak Ramsey, and Sherilyn anak CS. This presentation will include an introduction, issues and problems of poverty, implications of poverty, suggestion or recommendations, and the last one is a conclusion. Ladies and gentlemen, poverty is defined as a state or condition in which an individual or group lacks the financial means and necessities for a basic level of living. Poverty is defined as a situation in which one's earnings from work are insufficient to meet fundamental human requirements. Poverty, on the other hand, has always been significantly higher in rural areas and in metropolitan regions. Poverty incidence in rural regions decreased from 14.8% in 1999 to 11.9% in 2004, while poverty incidence in urban area decreased from 3.3% to 2.5%. Clearly, rural poverty has received more attention than urban poverty. The major element pressuring the mega urbanization trend is economic interest. Rapid urbanization has increased the number of urban poor people in the country. The influx of foreign workers, the rise in unemployment, and the transfer of low-income groups from rural to urban regions have all contributed to the rise in urban poverty, putting additional strains on urban services. Poverty is multi-dimensional, thus measuring it presents a number of challenges. Beyond low income, there is low human, social, and financial capital. The most common approach to measuring poverty is quantitative, money-metric measures which use income or consumption to assess whether a household can afford to purchase a basic basket of goods at a given point in time. Next, concept of poverty. Poverty is a lack of sufficient material, goods, or income to meet one's basic requirement. Poverty can be defined as a combination of social, economic, and political factors. Absolute poverty is defined as a complete lack of resources to meet fundamental human necessities such as food, clothes, and shelter. A lack of income or a shortage in expenditures is both indicators of poverty. One reason for focusing on money is that it is visible, measurable, and a source of immediate concern for people. Another explanation is that low incomes are strongly linked to other significant but difficult to measure concerns. Those in poor health and with the lowest social status, for example, are more likely to come from the lowest income bracket. Types of poverty. Absolute poverty is also called extreme poverty and extreme poverty. It involves a shortage of basic food, drinking water, health, housing, education, and information. People living in extreme poverty often have difficulties, and many children die from preventable diseases such as malaria, cholera, and water-polluted related disease. In developed countries, absolute poverty is usually rare, while relative poverty is defined from social perspective. That is, the standard of living is compared with the economic level of surrounding population. Therefore, It is an indicator of income inequality. Situational poverty. It is a temporary type of poverty due to side effects such as environmental disasters, unemployment, and serious health problems. While generational poverty, it is passed down from generation to individuals and families. This is more complicated because there is no way out because people are obsessed with the cause and don't have access to the tools that need to get out of there. A temporary form of poverty resulting from adverse events such as environmental disasters, unemployment, and serious health problems. People can help themselves even with a little help because unfortunate events create poverty. The rural poverty, it is occurs in rural areas with population below 50,000. It is the area where there are less job opportunities, less access to services, less support for disabilities, and quality education opportunities. People are tending to live mostly on the farming and other menial work available to the surroundings. And urban poverty occurs in the metropolitan area with a population over 50,000. As men are given more priority in job prospects, this will definitely lead to income inequality among men and women, where the economic growth will be less productive. Next, I handed over this presentation session to my friend Viralina. Thank you.
Poverty has many causes and impacts, including sickness, hunger, and poor sanitation. The impact of poverty on society is the vicious cycle of poverty, which means lifelong hurdles and difficulty passed down from generation to generation. Rural poverty refers to poverty in rural areas. Most of the society in rural areas are farmers, and they involved with traditional agriculture sector, which with low productivity and also gain lack of capital. Apart from that, there also lack of education, which one of the roots of poverty. Urban poverty is referred to the poverty in urban areas. There are many factors that can cause urban poverty, such as inflation, the rise in unemployment, the retrenchment in construction and manufacturing sector, the influx of foreign workers, and many more. Although it is not a major problem in Malaysia, but also government need to take action on it because it can be severe and intense than rural poverty. Lack of knowledge, education, skill, career options, it also can cause the urban poverty. Cost of living in urban areas often high. That is why people in low income group, they need to find or gain extra incomes in order for them to survive in urban areas.
Hi, greetings and salam sejahtera to Miss Zalina. My name is Sherilyn. Today I will present my part, which is implication of poverty. First of all, the countries such as China, Republic of Korea, Province of China, which is known as Taiwan, and Indonesia, have all benefited from industrial development. The poverty rates have fallen in several countries as a result of faster growth in economic development. Meanwhile, some countries have managed to achieve growth in economic development while maintaining substantial inequality, whereas others have not and still struggling to prevent this poverty issue in their own country. Rapid economic expansion in populous countries like China and India is largely to blame for the fall. In the developing world, however, there are significant disparities between countries and regions. Some areas and countries, particularly in East Asia, are rapidly catching up to the developed world. Others, particularly in Sub-Saharan, which is at Africa, are lagging far behind, and the proportion of impoverished people in the population in some nations have even increased. Okay, next is about the roles in economic development to prevent poverty issue. The market economy underpins most of our present understanding of economic growth, and the accumulation of capital is a major contributor to economic progress. Productivity growth is defined as output in production per worker as a result of increased capital per worker. It is also known as capital accumulations. The process of capital deepening will continue until the economy reaches its steady state when net investment grows at the same rate as the labor force and the capital-labor ratio remains constant. Besides, if technology or inputs remains unchanged, firms and individual people learn by doing and increasing output and productivity. International economic interaction, particularly international commerce, also foreign direct investment, are vital conduits for technology transfer and productivity growth. Technology diffusion, on the other hand, can only be effective if human resources are sufficient, technological improvement, incentives are substantial, and institutions are generally well functioning. Okay, next. Okay, and this one is about the poverty implication in Malaysia. As we know, many of these poor and low-income people, which they are in B40 category, are involved in economic activities that are heavily reliant on environmental circumstances, with climate being a major driver. Climate change will have an impact on environmental conditions as well as long-term viability of resources development, such as agriculture activity, fishery activity, and the informal economy, such as low-wage urban commerce. Okay, this study has been done by Mr. Ghaffar, Kairumani, Osman Saleh, and Fauza in year 2009, and this study and research has shown that Malaysia has an impressive track record when it comes to poverty reduction. From the year 1976 to the year 2004, the incidence of poverty decreased dramatically from a high of 49.3% in the year 1970 to a praiseworthy low of 5.7% in year 2004. And according to the economic planning units in year 2007, this achievement is largely due to an increase in household income over the same period, as well as a decrease in income inequality. Okay, next. Okay, so I will proceed with my last presentation. The vulnerability of the poor and those classified as low income in Malaysia could be due to a variety of circumstances, and these factors are generally described as number one, the household members' population and demographic structure. The second one, the economic and lifestyle activities, especially those who live in urbans and suburbans. Some more they still can enjoy their lifestyle, I think more like to luxury lifestyles. And the third one is the physical characteristics of the household unit. And number four, the immediate living environments. Number five, the presence of infrastructure and support system. And the last one is the nature of awareness. Furthermore, a lack of information awareness about the climate change could obstruct the prompt response or measures to any climate change related to the threat, which could be costly or fatal in the future if they have not realized it earlier. Okay, thank you.
For suggestions and recommendations, begin with Rural Transformation Development Plans, which it is one of the Malaysian government transformation initiative to eradicate poverty in Malaysia. It is transformation development program that focus on rural areas such as Sabah, Sarawak and others. It provides benefits to the rural area citizens. However, according to Ngah in 2012, the rural transformation development in Malaysia lack of relationship and coordination between other rural transformation programs such as National Key Result Areas or NKRS, Economic Transformation Program or ETP, and Rural Transformation Center or RTC. The government of Malaysia needs to review the existing rural transformation development plan to make some necessary adjustment or improvement so it can be continued. It has to be integrated and coordinated at multi-levels such as local, national and international levels. Government of Malaysia also welcomed the private sector and non-government organizations or NGOs involving in poverty reduction in Malaysia. This initiative should be continued. According to NAIR in 2010, Government of Malaysia should encourage private sectors to do corporate social responsibility or CSR program together with government in order to eradicate poverty in Malaysia by creating awareness of poverty among societies and more. Government can support the private sector by provide initiatives, tax reduction and others for their contributions towards poverty reduction. As for NGOs, also can gain good working relationship towards some goals with government, which is to solve the poverty issues. Therefore, according to Hatta in 2013, technical education and vocational training should be given to young people in rural areas so that they can gain knowledge, experiences, skills, and capabilities. It will help them to develop their skills and get hired and increase the quality of life. Malaysian government should focus on development of human capital and improvement of human capital productivity. It will contribute to the Malaysian economic growth as well as eradicate poverty. So the conclusion is Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs by United Nations, which also include the plan to end poverty by 2030. All the countries of United Nations members, include Malaysia, committed to achieve the goal. Role of government to eradicate poverty is important. There are many policies, programs and initiatives introduced by Malaysian government to eradicate poverty in Malaysia. It is important for Malaysia to eradicate poverty in Malaysia. It is important to reduce the poverty rate in order to sustain the economic development. Malaysia's government has reduced the poverty rate as the effect from the implementation of poverty eradication initiatives. Therefore, in rural areas need the most attention when it comes to poverty eradication. That is why government come out with programs, policies and initiatives for rural area citizens. At the same time, poverty issues in urban areas also need attention to just that with different approaches. With some modifications on existing initiatives, hopefully, Malaysia will achieve goals towards zero poverty someday.